Alrighty then. Hey, this is Wentus yet again. I'm going to continue my Let's Play of Pikmin 2. Last time, we landed back on the planet of the Pikmin and got reunited with the red Pikmin. This episode, we're going to be returning to the Valley of Repose yet again to see if we can discover anything new. I can't even describe how good it feels to be back this game. Well, not just this game, but just the Pikmin series in general is... how to describe it? They're some of my favorite games. I just love this series. Good morning, workers. Ready for another day of toiling for the profit of your company? The Pikmin seem to still be asleep inside their onion. What lazy creatures. No wonder they lack survival skills. Stand beneath the onion and press A to call them out. So let's just go ahead and do that. If we stand beneath the onion, we can press A and call them out as the ship said. If it'll actually let me. So yeah, just press A and let's withdraw all 20 Pikmin, we may as well. Now, as you can see, I have slightly better control now. Let's get Louie back with us. Let's immediately start getting more Pikmin ready to go. Okay, these point controls are going to take some serious getting used to. It's hard to be precise. I know I'm kind of used to the Pikmin 3 style of it, where if you basically point directly, like I keep on pointing directly at the pellet posies, trying to hit the top of them. That works in Pikmin 3, but not in this game. That's one thing I'm figuring out. I'll get used to it in time, so I'm guessing, yeah, about there. One more. Can easily get this one as well. Let's go ahead and get this one. There's probably some more pellet posies down by where we got Louie last episode. Let's go ahead and leave another Pikmin to help with that. While we start... let's go ahead and get a few more of these as well. That ought to do it. Let's start plucking these Pikmin though. One thing you may note from the first one, actually you probably can't really tell from here, Pikmin do grow a lot faster in this version. Now let's see. Is there anything up here now? No, there's not. I know there is something up there later, but it's not there yet. Now, one thing I should say that should be a goal for you in this game, you definitely want to get at least one treasure per day. That way you're making progress. And you can spend days devoted to Pikmin population, which is bad. Also, see, this is what I mean about them being a lot faster, which is really nice because waiting on Pikmin in the first Pikmin game got tiresome. Still, oh, I accidentally threw them. Wow, we can throw really far in this game with the point controls. That's something to note. But, we're not plucking anymore. Oh, I just realized. I can hear the plucking sound through my Wii remote. Oops, I did not mean to throw you. Oh, there's so much to talk about. First of all, let's just go ahead and keep moving forward. First and foremost, there's the day timer now, so we have a limited amount of time in this day, so we have to be as efficient as possible. We have just one more than enough to get this done. Yeah, we have to be as efficient as possible now, and also with that, I should note, unlike the first game, there isn't a 30-day limit to get everything done in this. No, we have as much time as we wish. I have actually played this game on my own time and gotten the day timer up to 100 before. No, we're gonna lose it. Didn't quite save him. I normally can take those guys out in one shot really easily, but unfortunately I'm not so good with these point controls. I'll get used to it. Let's go ahead and get... whoa, that was really awkward angle. Whoa, okay, this is really odd actually, but... oh, I'll get used to it, I promise. Okay, that was just me with poor aim. And they bounce off that twig, apparently. Okay, this is not a very productive start. Normally I'm a lot more productive than this, but I am used to a GameCube controller, and oh, we have 5 pellet up there. Oh, they all went way past it, though. That's no problem, though. They should all get that back pretty quick. Go. All our Pikmin return to us, and we can start plucking about now, I'd say. And also, I want to note, I think we killed that Bulborb with landing on it at the last second. That's why we got the extra pellet. So, that's one thing to note. Man, I'm kind of just going over the basics here, like, in case there's anyone who has not seen my Pikmin 1 Let's Play or has never played this series before. So that's going to be what the first few episodes are, but eventually I'll be going over, like, more advanced stuff, of course. Right now we're up to 46 Pikmin, which is not bad. Sorry that I've stopped there, I had an itch. Okay, but here we have our first full-on Bulborb. Now, there are a few ways we can go about this. We could just attempt to bum rush him by just going literally behind him and... was it this? Yeah, let's try this. See if we can take him out before he can get up. Or at least before we can get any Pikmin. Perfect. Alright. And also we may notice there is a treasure here. Yes, anything that looks like trash is treasure here. So we can get exactly 35 on that. Then we'll have enough left over to bring back that Bulborb, I think. I need to get just one of you little guys out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. And with that, we can get the guy going back. As you can see, we have a root wall here. I'm gonna set one Pikmin onto that since it's a weak root wall. You can tell because it's a white one, so it's pretty weak. And we see past here, there's something over there that we can't quite make out yet. And also to note, if we zoom out, there's a snowman here. Just a little detail that's kind of nice. Let's get to a proper zoom range. These guys are going to take some time to get this done. Carrying those back, we'll pluck all those Pikmin. We want to have, I'd say, 100 Pikmin before we get past that wall. So we can probably bring that 5 pellet back. Unfortunately, we're using all of our Pikmin to their highest efficiency right now. I'm going to zoom out a bit to see if there's anything noteworthy over where Louie crashed last time. There's a couple more pellet posies, just 1 pellets though. Also, one thing I may as well go over since our Pikmin are carrying stuff back. If we go down here, there's still an indent where Louie landed. I find that actually pretty funny. Either way, let's go ahead and get going back to the ship now. And one thing I should really be doing is splitting up my teams. Because one thing I always make the mistake of doing in this game is I never split up between Olimar and Louie. Because you can do that and have 2 separate tasks going at once, while one monitors one thing and another monitors another thing. But being totally honest, in this game, I've never really found much reason to do that. But 170, not bad. Utter scrap. That's what this was called, utter scrap, which I guess that much scrap metal would be worth a fair amount of money. But again, 100 Pokos is a year's salary. I doubt that just that much raw scrap metal. Well, scrap metal to be the size of a person? Yeah, I doubt that'd be as much as a year's salary. Maybe their economy is really bad, or maybe they lack resources. Who knows? But what's important is to go ahead and, you know what? I actually am going to split up here. I'm going to have Olimar begin bringing stuff back. And once I have... let's grab the Pikmin so we can get a little bit of lead on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the rest of you, I am going to direct to this job here. There we go. I'm going to have Olimar wait here, and I'm going to switch to Louie. Yeah, as I was saying, though, I rarely find a reason to actually split up the group. Like, there's times like this that it's kind of nice to be able to have one on Pikmin collecting duty and the other one exploring. There's no real reason to have both of them together. But at the same time, there's very few times when it's actually useful aside from this. So, the whole 2 captains thing I really like, but I don't think it was handled correctly until Pikmin 3, where you could actually, like, send them in a direction with their groups, etc. Let's see how this is going for Olimar, though. Oh, it looks like we're almost done here. About halfway through the day, though. How could Pikmin destroy such a massive wall? When massed, their might is ferocious. Louie, did Olimar instruct you on proper Pikmin commanding protocol? Apparently not. Olimar, you are failing in your duty as a superior. Allow me to explain. Press A to grab Pikmin and release the blah blah blah. We know this stuff. You already told us this. Blah blah blah. And I could have explained this anyway. Well, not really because I don't know the controls of this game specifically. But whatever. Still, we have this. Interesting. Warm air is welling up from the hole in the ground before you. What could lie underground? What is wrong? You both show expressions of unease. Do not fear, the leader's group of Pikmin will join you. I shall dispatch my research pod too. Approach the hole and press A to jump in. Now that's one thing that I don't think was mentioned in the original game, was that the leader's group is the only group that will join you. before jumping into the hole. Yes, we can go underground in this game. That's a very big feature in this game, in fact. Okay, these guys are almost done here. Also, I want to note that this hole is the only way to go because ahead is just water, and as we all know, I'm going to just showcase it here, Pikmin cannot swim. We could go ahead on our own, but there'd be no real use in that. Okay, looks like Louis should start plucking now. As soon as Louis rejoins with the group, then I'm going to go underground. So there's a lot of details to underground that should be covered. Yeah, as far as that whole thing I was talking about of only the leaders group of Pikmin, like let's say right now if I were to jump in with Olimar, we wouldn't have these 10 Pikmin with us. We'd just have the 53 that Olimar has, which isn't bad. But there are certain caves later on. Yes, this is not the only cave, I want to point that out. But there are certain caves later on where that is actually really important. Okay, so we have the emergence cave. Let's head down. I love that little animation, it just makes me happy. But yes, as far as caves go, there's a lot of details to this that you may notice. Sub-level 1. Intriguing. My heat sensors indicate that this hole's interior is warmer than on the surface. Analysis suggests danger lies ahead, but the promise of treasure is tantalizing. If you wish to check underground terrain, press plus to communicate with me. I am not just a ship. I am an all-purpose support pod. Now, this is one of the reasons why I like this ship more than the Dolphin. Also, you may notice the music's different here. We have our support pod, and we have, appears to be an orange over there. Also, new enemies. These appear to be very similar to the Dwarf Bulborbs, but they're snowy. Like, they blend in with the snow down here. So let's go ahead and get this treasure taken back first. And yes, this is a treasure. Just about anything that isn't an enemy in this game is treasure. Almost. Now, let's see if we can't aim well. Oh, apparently we can't aim well. Alright, got them. I think I'm going to have to just kind of rush enemies instead of be precise, because it's really hard to aim with this, I'm not going to lie. Still, that treasure should be back now. Citrus Lump. And I actually do know a lot of these treasures' names by heart. Now, let's go ahead and call those ones back. I love that I can call them back from really far away. That's nice. Still, let's go ahead and get, I think that's 4? Yeah, it takes 4 to lift that. That's just another bottle cap. If I were to guess, it's probably worth about as much as the one that Olimar brought back. So probably around 100. As you can see, though, if you just had looked at it briefly, it is a 7-up cap, so more product placement. That's something that you gotta get used to in this game. Product placement and Nintendo shoutouts. That's pretty much what this game is. So let's go ahead and get more Pikmin onto all of these. Yes, where should I continue from here? Oh yeah, one thing to note. Because that cap does take 4 Pikmin to lift, Olimar can lift it on his own, so that means Olimar has a strength of at least 4 Pikmin. So yes, we have this. Exactly 100, actually. Quenching Emblem. And listen to the sound. Now, before we even get into what he's saying here, yeah, I'm just gonna let him finish talking. So, one thing to note that sound means that there are no treasures left in this area, be it this floor of a cave or above ground. So that's something important to note. That noise is very important. How can you possibly consider this beast a treasure? So yes, the Pikmin do take fallen enemies not to their onions in this place, but back to the ship. Beasts are incompatible with my circuitry. I suppose I will store your finds in my hold. But I do not think beasts will be worth much. So yes, it is noted that these monsters are worth a few Pokos. Not very many, as each of those were worth 2. Also, listen. Ah, we just missed it. There. Those noises that the Pikmin just made. You may notice that is the theme of Luigi's Mansion. Sometimes when underground, Pikmin will sing that. Still, that's just a little bit of a tiny shout out there. We have another cave entrance. This hole appears to be quite deep. My sensors indicate more treacherous terrain ahead. Louis, you do recall that you can adjust the camera. Blah blah blah. I don't need to know this. You already told me yesterday. Your expression suggests you do. Excellent. Yes, we already know all this. Don't worry. All your Pikmin will follow you. Approach the hole and press A to enter it. So yes, that's something to note. As long as a Pikmin is not in the ground, as in like unplucked. Like let's say I'm gonna just throw a bunch of random Pikmin around. They are not with us. I could even throw them as far away as I want. Doesn't matter how far away they are. They can be on the other end of the floor. They will still follow us as long as they aren't dead or in the ground, basically. I think there's a couple exceptions to that, but there's not very many. Still, let's go down. And believe me, when I say that will be important, it means that you can... Excuse me. You can leave your Pikmin alone after carrying treasure and just head down. Final floor. So yes, this is the final floor of this particular cave. And that sound is just kind of a hint of what's to come. You can see there appears to be half a globe over there and 2 little bullboards missing. So technically, these ones might be bullboards or bread bugs. I'm not sure. I want to say they're bread bugs, technically, like I went over last episode. Yeah, I'm definitely sure, actually, these are technically bread bugs. So let's go ahead and get those carried back. And take a look at this. It's inconceivable that such an immense object has been buried here for so long. The design on the outer shell resembles the surface of the planet as seen from space. Perhaps this can be used for something other than salvage. But how will we ever lift it? I fear that even 100 red Pikmin will be unable to lift it. That's right. If we actually try, it takes exactly 101 Pikmin. So no matter how many Pikmin we brought with us, we can't actually bring this back with us. So I guess we're going to have to just leave it behind. Let's go ahead and get those Pikmin back there, carried back to those bulborbs. May as well fight our way along this way in the dungeon. We come close, but... Okay, there's a direct hit. It's really difficult to get that direct hit. I knew the exact spacing for it on the GameCube version, but this is different. Oh, I kinda got it there. But before we send more Pikmin back to get these guys, let's just go ahead and clear everything out. As you can see, there's no snow down here. We've gotten far enough down. I think there's like some snow over that way. Like, yeah, you can see there's snow there by where the cave entrance is, but the deeper down we go, the less snow there is. And there's more vegetation as well. That's just something kind of to note. The deeper we go underground, the more vegetation can survive down here. Just a little touch that I really like. But what have we here? Astounding! A flower blooms in a cave deep beneath the snowy landscape. Clearly, it is warmer down here than above. Look, the Pikmin are restless. They look as if they yearn to be tossed into the flower. Is that so? Well, if you guys remember from the first Pikmin game, these are what are known as candy pop buds. They resemble the Pikmin flowers when Pikmins actually bloom, as we'll see later in the game. Let's go ahead and toss them in, as requested. I missed! All except for one. One, as you can see, has sprouted into a different color. Amazing. A purple Pikmin. It has hair and is quite stocky. It seems very heavy and strong. This kind of Pikmin was not mentioned in your report, Olimar. It must be an entirely new type. Transforming Pikmin by tossing them into flowers. Intriguing. Perhaps there are others. So yes, we have our first new species of Pikmin that is in this game. So let's go ahead and get more of them. One thing to note, you can only get 5 from each flower before it wilts. Oh, I think it was closing up so I can get them in. Yeah, as you can see, that's our limits. Oh, I only got 2 in there before it went bad. Let's go ahead and toss one more. No, I can't seem to hit this. There we go. Oh, this aiming mechanic is going to take some getting used to. But yes, we have purple Pikmin now. As I said, they are stocky, so they are very heavy. As you notice, they like kind of slam their feet on the ground. And they are strong. And also, if we toss them, they make an audible thud. So, these guys... Oh, no, not the C button. Let's see, I wonder... I'm trying to check something. In the previous Pikmin games, there was always... Okay, so it's hold A and then press B to swap between different Pikmin. Alright, let's go ahead and get these carried back now. We're about done with this particular cave. Sorry if my commentary sounds a bit off. I'm trying to get used to what kind of flow I want for this series. Because Persona's a bit more of a slow flow, but this game is a bit faster. So, let's take a look. Now... let's go ahead and put all of our red Pikmin this time we can. As you can see, they're surrounding it. We've got 27 on it so far. It's not going to be nearly enough. However, as many of you might already know, and those of you who don't know, purple Pikmin have the strength of 10 Pikmin. That's right, 10 Pikmin. So just to give an example of this, using just the 10 purple Pikmin we got so far... Oh, no, those are red Pikmin. And by the way, before I continue... Actually, I'll stay on track with this. Yes, they each lift the strength of 10 Pikmin, so 10 purple Pikmin. Oh, I've actually swapped. I hate when it does that. Oh, no! Ah! I will get this right. There we go. 10 purple Pikmin can do what 100 red Pikmin cannot. And just with these little guys, they can get it. However, as you can see, purple Pikmin are extremely slow, so we're gonna have a bunch of red Pikmin get on there to help them out and speed this up. It's not much faster, but still faster. In fact, let's get all these guys. Still, there's something else I was going to point out. Okay, while they're carrying that back, you may notice, as I'm pointing out at the top, there is no day timer. We can't see the sun here, but this isn't shown yet. No time is passing above ground. So caves are basically set... they're outside of time and space itself, for some reason. I don't know why, but for some reason these caves are very special. And we can go down them and spend as much time as we want down here. Although we don't typically want to spend too much time in these caves because they're dangerous. But we have our next treasure. See how it glows differently? Spherical Atlas. There is a device resembling a microchip embedded inside this sphere. Retrieving data. Error. I could only decode a portion of the data, but I did retrieve a new geographic charts. I completely worded that wrong. Either way, I will input this data into my planetary database and name it the Sphere Chart. Press plus to contact me and go to the exploration kit on the radar screen by pressing left on the control pad. Now that we have this new data, you should explore the decoded territory tomorrow. That's right, this has unlocked a new area of the map for us, and as you can hear by this sound, that's right, we are done with this particular floor of the cave. And since it's the final floor, we have actually completely beaten this cave. So yeah, that's a good thing to note, is if you're running out of time sometimes, or if you don't want to spend too much time on one thing, you can actually go underground and not have to worry about the day passing, like I was saying earlier. But I'm excited, we get to go to the new area tomorrow. New area means new experiences, new treasures. And there's... I can't even begin on how much there is I need to talk about this game. Also, purple Pikmin are extremely slow, as you can see, especially as leaf Pikmin. They can't even keep up with us. But here we have this. Astounding! Water is shooting out of this geyser with incredible force. Sensors indicate it has enough power to launch you into the air. Approach it and press A to try. And yes, these geysers are our key out of the caves. So if we go up to a geyser and say we're ready to escape to the surface with our Pikmin, yes! We will get launched straight up, and we return to the surface. And as you can see, we can see how many treasures we got. And the cave is complete! So we never need to go back to this cave, although we might want to, because so far it's the only place where we found those purple flowers. So it might be valuable to go there and actually get some more purple Pikmin. Still, we're done there, and there's no more to that cave, and there's no more to the above ground either. Also, I love this little music. You have successfully returned to the planet's surface. Excellent decision-making, gentlemen. We must celebrate your first successful spelunking expedition. You've gathered a large amount of data that needs in-depth analysis. I shall send a report back to the President tonight, detailing your progress. And are we done for today, then? Maybe. Olimar and Louis, since you will explore a new area tomorrow, today's work is done. What? You still want to work? Unacceptable! You may not realize it, but you are exhausted. You should take a much-needed rest, as you have all the time you need to collect treasure. Yes, it's noting that there is no time limit in this game. Haste makes waste, so take it slow and steady. So with that, we're forced to end today, and for the first time we actually get to see us sending the Pikmin back. As you may note, though, the purple Pikmin don't have an onion, so they actually go to the ship. That's something interesting, I think. We'll get more into that next episode, though. Not today, creatures of the night. We didn't leave any Pikmin behind, which is nice. Hopefully I can get through this whole project without leaving any behind. I know I just jinxed it by saying that, but let's take a look at today's report. I think we lost our first Pikmin today, didn't we? So we got a fair amount. We were almost 10% of the way done, in fact, believe it or not. Yeah, this game isn't that long for a Pikmin game, but still. So just pure increases in population. However, we lost our first in battle. Let's have a moment of silence for Jim, the red Pikmin. He will be remembered. Regardless, we must move on. Baby steps first, Olimar. Plan well and don't worry about me. Our debt is with Happy Hokatet Savings and Loan, after all. Besides, there's nothing left to repossess, so ha! That's one way of looking towards the president. There's nothing left to lose, so I suppose that's true. Well, I guess let's continue on with our journey then. But we'll have to do that next episode, when we'll be exploring the Awakening Wood. Now, one thing I want to note, even though we have more treasures and more entries in the Picklopedia now, I, again, will not be going over those, except for some special ones, until the end of the series. I love this map music. Either way, we got a fair amount done in this episode. We discovered purple Pikmin. We got, what was it, 5 treasures? Well, 5 if you include all the bodies we brought back of different monsters. I imagine if you were to like have those stuffed and basically taking them to a taxidermist, you could probably sell those for a fair amount on Alien Planet for someone to have like mounted on their wall. But that's going to be it for this episode. As usual, if you enjoyed this episode, I really appreciate any and all likes, favorites, and subscribing, especially comments though, because they go a long way to help me out. Either way though, this has been Wentus. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time when we continue this game of Pikmin 2. See you then.